I was invited to come on PGA Tour Radio the day after Stewart Cink won his second title in about 8 months after buying the Decade app out of his phone's app store. Let's listen to what Stewart had to say about what the Decade app and the Decade system have done for his game, even as a multiple PGA Tour winner and a major champion who hadn't won in 12 years. Let's take a listen to how it's transformed his thought process on the course.
We had Scott Fawcett on with Decade talking about all that stuff that he's doing and the stuff you guys have been talking about and the system that you guys have created. Is it completely off of Decade, or is it similar and you guys have kind of taken your own methodology to apply to it for your own golf game?
I've never heard of Decade.
Oh, okay.
No,
you haven't. No, you're kidding. The verbiage was perfect, according to Scott. So
yeah, I mean, it is. Over the years of my career, I've had, my gut feeling has kind of been to play a certain way strategically. I feel like to be aggressive, I kind of know when it is and when it's time, and to be conservative, I know when it's time. And I've always kind of played like I've managed that part of my game well. It's been a strength of mine, but I never really had anything to quantify it. And so what it's led to has been a little bit of conflict over the years with my caddies. And most of my caddies have always wanted me to be a little bit more aggressive, and I was always a little hesitant because I just felt like something tells me that this just is right. But my gut says to do this is right. And so when Reagan was going to caddy for me last year in Napa, I started looking around and just kind of searching for, I actually just used Google, and I found Decade, and I had heard of it, but I kind of forgot I'd heard of it. And I went and started investigating, and basically what Scott has done is using strokes gained and all the good stats we have available now, he's sort of quantified the way my gut has always thought and felt. And I thought that was just a really good way for me to sort of lead in with Reagan caddying to try. What I did was basically, and Scott and I have never spoken. We don't know each other. I subscribe to the Decade materials just like any other member of the public. I pay for it. We've adhered to it ever since the tournament in Napa where we won. It was our first go with it. And, I think it's a great way to play golf. And it adapts to your circumstances in the moment. And you just got to learn it and trust it and understand it and implement it. And that's what Reagan has dove in, like head first into it, and he's constantly pulling me back to the system, and it's great. It's just been something we can lean on. I could go on for a long time talking about it, about the benefits of what it's done for me, and it's not just where to aim your shots, but it's helped me with my decision making because I don't really have to make decisions anymore. On the course, the system that we have makes the decision for us, and it takes the mental energy that would be required to deliberate over the decision like that. It takes it away, and it's already done. So it keeps me fresh, and it's pretty simple, and I like using it.
Stewart, Jeff Warren here. Congratulations again on a great week last week and an entire this year as well. It's funny because earlier in the show, Dennis and I were talking about Decade, and the comment I made was, PGA Tour players are the best players in the world, presumably the smartest players in the world, and we were going back and forth about Decade. And I said, what it really does is it takes exactly what you just said, is it takes the decision out of it. If you've got your dispersion pattern charted in advance, you know whether you're going to hit a certain club, and there's not going to be any caddy conflict. So that's so interesting you bring that up, because if you know when you get to a certain hole and it's a 40-yard target and your driver has a 60-yard area that it flies in, it's just not a driver. So there's no, should I hit driver? Should I hit this? Or should I do that? You know what you're going to do in advance. And I think, quite frankly, it puts the better course managers on the PGA Tour a little bit of a disadvantage now, because everybody they're playing against is smarter too, making it harder on them.
Well, in a way, it's just kind of the natural evolution of technology.